while you walk away, like a river with somewhere to go. You left me crying, and your tears about tomorrow, and all the pain and sorrow running through. Well, the mountains another day, and I don't believe in that.
Hello, Tom deHaas, OSU Extension, Erie County. I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resource Educator for Erie and want to talk to you today briefly about time management. So when we think about time management, we're thinking about basically what we do with our time. And this is really true. You have as much time as you'll ever have. The most valuable commodity that we have or asset is our time. So I'm going to give you some of my techniques of how I encourage people to spend their time. First of all, the way you spend your time is totally up to you, and you're the one that needs to prioritize. I remember the book Above the Line, Lessons in Leadership and Life in a Championship Season, and this was one that was written. It was actually written by Urban Meyer, and really, it's about being very intentional about what you do. This is kind of my routine. I get up at 4 to 4:30 every morning, and I'm usually in bed by 8:30 or 9 at night. But I have a kind of a regiment that I follow, and I would encourage you to think about that as well. If you get the environment right, every one of us has the ability to do remarkable things. There's a TED Talks on that, and they have the link at the bottom of this page. It's all about balance. And I remember reading a book by Richard Bowles, What Color is Your Parachute? A Practical Manual for Job Hunters and Career Changers, 2016. In my mind, our goal or our mission should have 3 points: to seek to do hour by hour what we were sent here to do, and to spend that time to make the world a better place. And thirdly, to exercise the talents that we were gifted with. And a lot of times it's when we find ourselves losing track of time that we're really where the sweet spot is, where we're spending the time we should be spending it. I do like this quote. I had a poster, I had to write it down. This story about 4 people named Everybody, Somebody, Anybody, and Nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody would do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it, and it ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. So I've recently read a really good book. It was called The Question Behind the Question, or basically the book was Practicing Personal Accountability in Work and Life. And a lot of times we ask the wrong question. A lot of times we'll ask, or we make phrases like why, and typically the incorrect question begins with these words: why, when, and who, and typically contains the pronouns they, them, we, or you. When we go down that road, we end up blaming others for really what's something that we have control over and what we can do. The real question should be what or how, and contain the pronoun I. This is how I can solve the problem. So, and this actually is something that I do all the time. Okay. When asked to do something, I pause and reflect, and then I call them back. I never say yes right away. I always look at, I always say this: thank you for asking. Let me think about it and check my calendar, and I will call them back. And I intentionally put it on my Outlook calendar when I'm going to call them back. Okay. I keep a log of what I do and phone calls as well as other items. I write things down when I think of them. Um, I text myself, I call myself, I email myself. I use anything. I write on my hand. And this is kind of crazy coming from a guy that in December of 2016 had a flip phone, but I've kind of moved into the 21st century, I guess. Smart goals need to be things that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So, and this is actually one of my SMART goals. Every Friday at 2:30, I will input into Vita all the programs, publications, and trackable activities that I did in the past week. If you do that, if you commit to doing that every week, when January comes of next year, it's all there. Okay. I keep a gratitude journal, and I write down 10 things every day of what I'm grateful for. And I read these as I need them. Okay. The other thing is I do write thank you notes. In fact, I mailed one this morning, and it was to the manager at Home Depot. But this is actually something that I took from a book that I read. It was called The Art of Thank You, Crafting Notes of Gratitude. And it was written by Lees. And that's in this PowerPoint as well. I leave it the way I want to find it. Okay. If I leave my desk a mess, it'll be a mess when I come back. If I clean it off and get organized for the next day, that's where I start. Okay. So my contact information, if you need to get a hold of me, deHaas.2@osu.edu. My phone number is there, 567-998-7651. And with that, I thank you for your time. Have a great day. Thanks.